As we get deeper into the Halloween season, it is now time for my week 2, day 8 through 14 horror movie recommendations. Stay tuned. What is up, everybody, and welcome to the Mid-Level Media channel. I am here today for my day 8 through 14 horror movie recommendations for week 2 of the Halloween season. I am super excited today to bring you another 7 movies to put on your watch list for this week. Last week's video did incredibly well. A lot of people watched, a lot of people engaged with me, all the movies that you guys have been watching. Like I said, I'm only giving you my recommendations. You don't have to watch these movies, but I strongly suggest that you do. And what I hope to accomplish with this video is I like to bring a little bit of the physical media flavor into this video. I'm not just going to give you the recommendations, but I'm also going to give you the recommendations. I'm going to tell you where you can buy them in the physical media format. I'm also going to tell you where you can stream them as well. So you know, when I give you the recommendation, you know exactly where to go to watch it, because the movies I'm getting ready to cover, guys, they're awesome. They're great horror films, great spooky films to watch this season. So let's get right into things, guys, because I'm going to start with day 8, my day 8 horror movie recommendation, which the 8th of October is tomorrow. So I got a little bit ahead of myself here. I'm a day early, but my day 8 horror movie recommendation is, and this is an underrated movie, and a lot of people didn't like this movie when it first came out because of what it did to the franchise that it's a part of, but the one I'm recommending is Halloween 3, Season of the Witch. It's a terribly underrated movie. You know, a lot of people didn't love this movie when it came out because it didn't have Michael Myers. It didn't continue the story of Michael Myers within that franchise, and that's because what John Carpenter with that team over there was trying to do is they were trying to make Halloween kind of like an anthology series, and everyone was going to be different. It was going to tell a different story, and this one certainly did, even though Michael Myers does make a cameo in this movie, but I'm not going to reveal exactly how if you've never seen it. But this one did so poorly, they abandoned the entire idea, and then they went back to Michael Myers with Halloween 4 and 5 and all the rest of them. But this is a really good standalone story about an evil corporation making Halloween masks that kill kids. There's sci-fi elements involved. It's a terrific score by John Carpenter, and I think he had help with Alan Hayworth. Both of them did the score on this. It's one of the most terribly underrated scores, maybe my second favorite of the Halloween franchise is this score. It's awesome. But yeah, guys, this is an awesome movie that you guys need to watch. Now, where you can get this right now on Amazon, you can get the Scream Factory version of Halloween 3 for $17.88, which is an incredible deal. There's also a steelbook of this floating around, but where I was finding it, it's like $60. It's very limited right now. I don't know if you're going to be wanting to spend $60 to get a steelbook version of this. Maybe wait till more comes into circulation, but $17.88 for a Scream Factory version of this is pretty awesome. Now, I found this one, just the regular Blu-ray, at an FYE for I think $7, $8 or something a couple of years ago, and I went ahead and snatched it. So the regular Blu-ray, which is what I'm holding right now, goes for $13.07 on Amazon.com right now. So for just $4 or $5 more, I would honestly get the Scream Factory, because this is an awesome movie. It really puts you in the mood for Halloween, just the feels and the tones that it embodies. And I know it doesn't have Michael Myers, but it's a great movie. So, but if you don't want to buy the physical form, it is available to watch on Hulu and Amazon Prime right now if you have a subscription to both of those services. So Halloween 3, great horror film. Even though it doesn't have Michael Myers, check it out. And next up, guys, we're going to go with another very underrated horror film. And it's kind of coming back into the consciousness of the people because the remake was announced. It was supposed to come out, I think, back in the summer, and then it got pushed to October, and now it's got pushed again. I hope they just release it to VOD or something soon. But it is 1992's Candyman, and that is directed by Bernard Rose. So in my opinion, this is probably one of the most, at least like top 5 underrated horror movies of all time, because a lot of people just view this as some silly slasher from back in the early 90s, you know, about the guy, they say the name, he comes through the mirror. There's a lot more to this movie. It is creepy as hell. It is scary as hell. Tony Todd is an absolute horror legend, and that is because of what he does in this movie. He is insanely terrifying in this film. The score in this one as well, one of my all-time favorite horror scores, fantastic horror score. And it's just a beautifully written, directed, performed. Virginia Madison is fantastic in this movie. Everybody is great in this movie, and I love it. I just didn't realize how great it was until I rewatched it after getting this Scream Factory edition. So the thing about the Scream Factory edition is I bought this when it first came out, so I got this kind of limited edition slipcover. And that's the regular Scream Factory cover. This thing's at Walmart right now for like $10. It's still at Walmart when I go. I don't know if it'll be at yours in your area, but the Scream Factory is going online too on Amazon for $9.99. So $10 for a Scream Factory for one of the best horror movies of all time, in my opinion, is totally worth it. So definitely get on there and order that. Now, if you want the Arrow set, because there's an Arrow set as well, that's $17.06, and that has terrific artwork on it as well. So not a bad price for the Candyman. And, with the movie coming out eventually, you might want to brush up on your Candyman. Now, as far as the sequels, I haven't seen those for a very long time, but I don't remember those too fondly. So, but like I said, this is also available on Hulu, Sling, and Fubo TV right now if you have those subscription services. But fantastic movie. I love Candyman. Next up, guys, and this is a 2014 film. And I don't think this is really underrated. I don't think enough people have seen it, though. This was pretty highly received when it came out. I think it got like a 95% on Rotten Tomatoes, but that's It Follows, directed by David Robert Mitchell, who also recently did an A24 film, Under the Silver Lake, with Andrew Garfield. So this is a fantastic horror movie that I actually just watched the other night. Again, guys, and you'll hear me keep saying this because the score, the music is so incredibly tied to just the feelings and the tones of how I remember horror films and how I get into them. I love good movies, and that's the same with all movies. The music is like the most important thing underneath, like maybe story and direction. It's like, then it goes to music, because you have to have good music to sell your movie. But It Follows, man. Incredible story. It's kind of like a metaphor for STDs in a way, because it's about people that get haunted by having sex. So they spread this, I don't want to call it a virus. It's kind of like a ghost virus, basically, because once you have sex with somebody, you pass this ghost that follows you around and tries to kill you to the next person. So all throughout the film, there's very devious things going on with teenagers and sex, and they're trying to trick them into having sex with each other so they can pass along the demon that they know that they have, and the demon's following them. This is a very creepy movie full with tons of terrific atmosphere. There's some criticism out there of this movie in the way that it portrays like teens and women and sex and all that stuff. I honestly don't see that. I think this is a terrific horror movie, very well directed. Very well acted and performed by, I think the girl's name is Maika Monroe. She's an incredible lead in this. Why that girl hasn't gone on to do more great things besides Independence Day Resurgence is beyond me. But yeah, terrific film from 2014. If you have not seen It Follows, the Blu-ray of this is available for $9.99 on Amazon right now. You can also get the DVD for $8.99, which, it's only $1 less. I would just go with the Blu-ray because this movie looks great. Visually striking, stunning film. And it's not actually available on streaming right now other than renting. You can rent it on Vudu, rent it on Amazon Prime, but other than that, you'll have to rent it for like $3.99, I think, or maybe it's $2.99. But absolutely recommend It Follows. I love this movie. Next up, guys, another recent choice. And like I said, like with these picks, I'm trying to go across the spectrum. I'm trying to give you some recent movies that just came out. I'm trying to give you some classic movies that came out. I'm trying to give you some under the radar picks that you may not think of ordinarily on your own, because everybody's going to tell you to watch The Exorcist, The Shining, Halloween. I might bring some of those up too. I want to get some iconic ones in there as well. But I think a lot of these movies I'm going to cover, some of them people don't talk about enough, and they need to. But this is one that came out in 2018. Directed by Coralie Fargeet. And this was her first feature film, and it's called Revenge. This is hands down the best revenge movie, at least horror-based, that I've ever seen. It has the vibes of Last House on the Left and I Spit on Your Grave and all those movies that this movie really draws from. But the style in this movie, Coralie Fargeet has such an incredible style with her filmmaking. Just very striking. It's like her And I forget, Craig S. Zoller does a great job in like really creating a style within their direction. It's very distinct, and I cannot wait until this woman does more movies, in particular in the horror genre, thriller genre, whatever she decides to do, because she has such an incredible style. And you know, the story of this is very basic. You know, it's your basic, a bunch of guys, and there's some problems with them and this girl, and they end up killing her, but they don't really kill her, and then she comes back to take them all out. And I'm not trying to spoil it, but this is such a good movie. The actual greatness of this film comes in just the experience of it, just the way it's filmed, the way it's shot, just the overall style, man. I cannot say enough about Coralie Fajit and her style in this. This is all direction. Matilda Lutz, which is the lead in this, she's fantastic as well. Not since probably Uma Thurman as the bride in Kill Bill have I seen a female performance this badass. She's complete badass in this. And she deserves all the credit. This is one of the best female performances of the past 10 years. Nobody talks about this movie. They did for a couple of months when it came out, but nobody talks about it enough anymore. Absolutely fantastic, and I can't wait to see what this director does next. But as far as how you can watch it, this is a Shudder original, so if you have the Shudder streaming service, you can watch it on that. It's also available on Amazon Prime to watch if you have the subscription to that as well. The Blu-ray is $13.99 on Amazon.com right now, and there's a Second Sight media set, which is a really nice looking set. It's $34.99, so it's a little pricey. I've thought about getting it so many times, because it's a terrific looking set. I'm going to be showing images of all this stuff. But yeah, if you get it, if you watch it, maybe on Shudder, if you have it and you really like it, you might want to order that media set. So I'm just putting it out there that there is that release as well. But that is Revenge, Coralie Fajit, fantastic movie. So let's move on to day 12, guys, because in day 12, I'm going to go back a little bit further. We've been talking about recent films. I'm going to go back to 1973 and a little film called The Wicker Man, directed by Robin Hardy. And this movie actually has Christopher Lee in it as well, of Lord of the Rings fame, Star Wars, Count Dooku, other things, Notorious, Dracula. He was in tons of movies. This movie is awesome. This movie is so good. And if you've seen Midsummer, which is the A24 film that everybody lost their minds over last year because it was so fantastic, the filmmaking was so awesome. Ari Aster completely ripped off this movie. It is almost the exact same story, except he brings in, you know, his grief, horror stuff that he brought in Hereditary, which I love Hereditary. I'm just not a big fan of Midsummer. There's so much unsettling atmosphere and great horror within this movie, and just how it builds to the moment at the end, and the ending is just fantastic. And yeah, Midsummer completely ripped this movie off, but this movie does such a terrific job in just building that tension and atmosphere so much better than Midsummer does. So if you, and I don't feel like people, you have to understand where these movies come from. And if you haven't seen The Wicker Man, but you've seen Midsummer and love it, you'll absolutely appreciate this so much more. It is so good. The performances are great. Very unsettling, very weird, full of all kinds of horror goodness. So yeah, great movie. And it's available to rent right now. You can't get it for free anywhere, but you can rent it for, I think, $1.99 is what it's available for right now. On the Blu-ray though, online, this actually exact Blu-ray is $13.84 off of Amazon. So definitely check out The Wicker Man. Freaking fantastic movie. Next up, guys, I'm going to go with another kind of under the radar hit. This is a John Carpenter film. This is called In the Mouth of Madness for day 13, I believe is what I'm on. But In the Mouth of Madness is a 1995 film directed by John Carpenter, starring Sam Neill. This was during Sam Neill's kind of post Jurassic Park, when he was doing horror movies. He had done horror movies before with like The Omen 3 and a couple others in the 80s and 70s. But he did this, then he did Event Horizon. He was back in the genre of filmmaking. He's fantastic in this movie. This movie is all kinds of batshit crazy. There's so much weird stuff in this movie. It's basically the story of like a Stephen King type author, that stories are coming to life kind of in a way. And there's like the blurring of reality and fiction. And he's like, I'm not saying he's going like directly into his own stories, but there's things happening in this town that he travels to that are very similar to the stuff that he's writing. And it gets into a lot of cult territory. John Carpenter directs it, so there's some really cool monsters in this movie that show shades of The Thing, where he gets to kind of recreate some of the same kind of monster models that he did in The Thing, and it's spectacular. In particular, a scene with an old lady that turns into I won't spoil it, but In the Mouth of Madness is completely just batshit nuts, and you have to see it. This is the Scream Factory edition. I'll pull this up. Now it's the original poster art. The Scream Factory right now is going for $22.99 on Amazon, but it's a terrific edition, terrific cover on this one, beautiful cover. I absolutely recommend it. It is available to rent for $1.99 on all the streaming services, but you can't get it for free anywhere at this time. So In the Mouth of Madness, love this movie, definitely check it out. And last one up, guys, for day 14. This is, you've probably heard me talk about this before if you've been following my Instagram pages or this channel for any length of time, but the 2000s, in particular from 2000 to 2009, was an incredibly weak decade for horror. That's when the torture porn the stuff emerged with like the Saw films and the Hostel films. Remakes were all the craze with like Texas Chainsaw, which I actually like the 2003 one, but a lot of remakes during this era, the Halloween, Friday the 13th. It was just a sucky time to be a horror fan. There wasn't really a lot of original ideas. And when they did come out with original ideas, it was all torture porn, Human Centipede, all this other bullshit. But The Descent, terribly underrated movie. I know people do talk about it, but from 2006, this movie blew my mind when I saw it in theaters because it's such a good horror movie. It's a monster movie. It is a monster movie that kind of has shades of like Alien a little bit, but before it's a monster movie, it's also an incredibly deep emotional story about this woman that lost her family, and there's stuff going on, tension between her and her friends because she suspects one of her friends maybe cheated on her with her husband. And they're also cave dwellers, and they're going through all these really tight corridors. There's a lot of tension, a lot of great moments just in the opening with them getting like almost stuck. It's extremely claustrophobic in the first half of this movie and scary. It's scary and tension filled and atmospheric before the monsters even come out. And then you add the monsters in and it just elevates it so much more. So much great gore in this movie. Beautifully directed by Neil Marshall. I can't believe what he did with the new Hellboy movie. I thought it was going to be so much better just based off of his past work. But I need to check out Dog Soldiers. I've heard that's a really good movie as well. But yeah, The Descent, guys, if you haven't seen The Descent, it's absolutely fantastic. You can watch this on Amazon Prime and Tubi right now for free if you have those subscription services. It's also available kind of pricey on Amazon. It's $14.99 right now for the Blu-ray. On DVD, it's also available for $7.69 on Amazon. So I got the DVD right here because I found it at FYE a few years ago, I think for like $5.99 or something. It was a deal, but The Descent is absolutely fantastic. So definitely recommend checking out The Descent at some point. And with that, guys, I'm going to go ahead and end this horror movie recommendation video. So I brought you through it. Day 8, Day 9, Day 10. I'll go through all the titles again. Day 8 was Halloween 3. Day 9 is Candyman. Day 10 is It Follows. Day 11 is Revenge. Day 12 is The Wicker Man from 1973, not the 2006 Nicolas Cage Wicker Man. I still haven't seen that one, actually. Day 13 was In the Mouth of Madness, and Day 14 was The Descent from 2006. So lots of great horror recommendations right there, guys. Absolutely recommend that you check these out. I know you got your own lists. Everybody, you get in the mood to watch these movies, so you might not take every one of these, but at least take one or two. Let me know in the comments below when you do actually watch them, and just let me know what you think of them. You know, comment down below, DM me on Instagram, whatever. I would love to talk with you all about them, and you know, if you actually take one of my recommendations and watch it and love it, that would make me feel good about what I do here on YouTube for sure. So definitely reach out if you're feeling compelled to do so. But that does it for the video, guys. I appreciate you guys watching. We'll be back next week for the week 3, day 15 through 22, or no, 21. Day 15 through 21 horror movie recommendations as we rapidly get through the Halloween season. And, you know, watching horror is so great. I love this time of year. Fantastic. But be sure to subscribe if you haven't already subscribed to the channel. Go ahead and comment down below. Like this video. Please like the video. Help it move up through the YouTube algorithms and all that good stuff. And we'll see you next time.